Hello everyone, today I'm going to be guiding you through setting up your own personal website from scratch. I'm going to show you how to set it up with GitHub, how to structure your files, and I'll go over ways to launch your website so everyone can see it on the World Wide Web. If you just started getting into web design, don't worry. I'll take you through the process step by step, and if you have a question, just leave a comment and I'll be glad to give you guidance.
Anyways, let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do when creating a website from scratch is to link it with GitHub. If you don't know what GitHub is, it is essentially a Google Drive or storage place for all your code. It allows programmers to upload local files on their computer to something called a repository on the GitHub website. Once the code files are on GitHub, developers can access their code from virtually anywhere using any computer. It also makes collaboration easy. First step, go to github.com. Create an account. Once you've done that, you need to set up an SSH key for your computer. If you don't know what this is, don't worry about it. Basically, it creates a link between your computer and your GitHub account so you can upload your code to the website. First, download Git so we can perform GitHub commands in the command line. Then, open Terminal on Mac or Git Bash on Windows. You can do this by searching it in the Spotlight. Type this command. You may have never used a command line interface before, and it might be a little daunting, but just stay with me. After you type this command, it will ask you to enter a file name where you want your key to be stored. You can leave this blank and press enter. It will then ask you for a password. You can leave this blank if you want. After this, you should see your public key and your private key, as well as a little picture with a bunch of random characters. It's important to know to never share your private key with anyone. Now go to GitHub again and go to Settings. Go to SSH and GPG keys. Select New SSH. Copy the private and public key into the box labeled Key. In the title section, you can insert the name of your computer. Now that that's over with, we can begin creating a GitHub repository, which will be the place where all our code is stored online. This GitHub setup is a little meticulous, but I promise we will get into file structure and actual coding soon. Click the plus sign in the top right corner and select New Repository. Choose a name for your repository. You can also add a description. Depending on who you are making your website for, depends on whether you make it public or private. But in most cases, you can have a public repository. You may also want to initialize a README to add additional info about your website, but it is not necessary. Perfect! Now we can begin making our files and linking them to GitHub. Open Terminal or Git Bash and navigate into the folder you want your project to exist in. I want mine to exist on my desktop, so I will type cd desktop. Next, create a folder on your desktop where you want all your code files to be stored in. Do this by typing mkdir name of website. Try to avoid spaces and use dashes instead. This is essentially the equivalent of right-clicking on your desktop and selecting a new folder. Either way will work for this example. Now navigate into the new folder you just created using the command cd and the name of your folder. Now we have to link this folder where all our website code will exist to the GitHub repository we created before. Do this by typing git init, then type git remote add origin your SSH. The SSH will be found under clone or download when you click your repository, but it is also just git@github.com : your username / your repository name .git. Yay, we are done setting up GitHub. Now we can start creating our code files for the website. Make sure you are still in your website's folder in Terminal or Git Bash. To create files from the command line, we use the command touch. Enter touchindex.html. What this does is create an HTML file named index that we can design our website in. It is important to name the file index because most browsers look for this name and will render this page first, which is what you want. In most cases, index.html will be your home page. If you want your website to have multiple pages, you can create multiple .html files. If you want an about page, simply enter touch about.html. After you have one page named as index.html, you can name your other pages whatever you want. However, try to pick descriptive names like about rather than page 2. Also, don't use spaces when naming your files. Next, create a styles folder and CSS file where all your website's color and design will come from. Type mkdir styles, cd styles, and touch styles.css. Also, to keep everything organized, we should create a folder to keep all of our images in. Type cd mkdir images. Yes, we can finally start coding. You may want to download a code editor to make it easier for yourself, but any text editor like TextEdit on Mac or Notepad on Windows is fine. I'm using Atom, which is a code editor for all languages. I'll leave a link to more code editors that are free to download. Once you've downloaded an editor, open it and click Open Project. Select the folder that contains all your code files. Now click on the index.html page. Every HTML document must begin with doctype HTML. Next, create an HTML tag. In this tag, create another tag called head, and then a body tag. In the head tag, type title. This is where the name of your website will go. It appears on the website tab. Each of the things you typed is called a tag. This is how HTML groups elements and knows how you want your website to look. Don't worry if you don't know all the tags I just used. As you practice them, you'll learn them. There are many resources available online that will give you thorough description of the tags and how to use them. Moving on, in the body tag, we can create an H1 tag, which is the largest size heading. Let's see how this looks when we load the website. You can load the website by double-clicking the index.html file. Congratulations! You just made your first development to your website. It's not exactly the prettiest, but we will get to touch on styling later. So you have your home page, but how are you going to navigate to your about page? Copy and paste the code from your index.html page into the about.html file. Change the H1 text to about. To link the pages, use the A tag and type a href equals index.html home, close the tag, and href equals about.html about, and close the tag into both your index and about files. Load the website and try clicking on the links. They should take you to the respective pages. You may be thinking, this is great, but no one's website actually looks like this. If this is the case, what you need is CSS styles. CSS is another programming language used to add design to one's site. Begin by opening the styles.css file we created earlier. Then type asterisk, curly brace, background dash color, colon, blue, semicolon. Also type h1, curly brace, color, colon, yellow, semicolon, font family, colon, sans serif, semicolon, and close the bracket. I almost forgot about this, but to link the HTML files to the CSS files, we need to use the link tag and insert rel equals quotation style sheet space href equals quotation styles/styles.css. And this last part is just the pathway of your styles.css file. You may have a different pathway, but if you set it up exactly like how I set it up, you should have the same pathway. And you need to put this link for each of your HTML files, so you would put it in index as well as about. What this does is it makes the background color for the entire website blue and makes all the H1 headings yellow with sans serif as the font. Load the website to see the changes. Okay, this isn't the best color combination, but you get the point. W3 Schools has a ton of CSS examples as well as HTML examples. It's a great place to learn more about the languages, and I use it a lot. I know we are not really done with this website, but let's just say we were. Once you are done coding for the day, you want to push your changes to GitHub. If you have Atom as a code editor, this is very simple. All you have to do is click Stage All Changes, then type a commit message, and lastly, go into Terminal and type git push origin master. If you are using a different editor and want to push your code, you should go to Terminal or git bash. Make sure you are in the websites folder. Type git add period. This will add all the changes you made on your code files to the commit. Then type git commit -m quotations initial commit. Then git push origin master. Go to github.com under your repository and see that the page has been updated with the code on your computer. Github Workflow is daunting at first, but once you get used to adding, committing, pushing, and pulling your code, you'll find it easy. I'll leave a video in the description on how GitHub works and the basic commands you need to know. Now I will discuss the steps needed to launch your website. We are going to use Github Pages. This is a great way to launch your website for free, and if you are a beginner, simply go to your repository page, go to the repository settings, scroll all the way down and see Github Pages. In the source area, select the drop down and choose Master Branch instead of None. It's as simple as that. Save it, click Environment, then Deployment, and see your newly launched website. Hopefully you found this tutorial helpful, and I can't wait to see what you do with this knowledge. If you have any questions or problems, please leave a comment, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a like, and if you want more, subscribe.